I don't do much on my website at all, and I still make a lot of money. So in the beginning days, I was buying leads, which is an interesting thing for real estate agents. A lot of them still do buy leads to this day. And so I'm now an advocate of learning SEO yourself, setting your website up for success, and generating your own leads versus paying.
If you combine this with link building, then the whole thing works together in harmony.
Even if you are new in that space, it's only one thing that you have to research. Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Today, I am really excited to be joined by Joy Orman, co-founder of Luxury SoCal Realty and one of San Diego's most influential luxury real estate agents. Recognized in the Wall Street Journal as a digital marketing pioneer, Joy has mastered the art of attracting high net worth clients and breaking sales records. Welcome to the podcast, Joy.
Thank you, Chris and Nick. I'm so happy to be here.
Joy, it's great to have you on. To get started, why don't you just tell us about how you got started in real estate?
Real estate, well, my first career was in the mortgage industry. So when I moved to San Diego, I had built that mortgage business on a website. It was actually Blogspot to start, because back in the day, if you guys remember, you could actually rank a Blogspot by keyword cramming the footer and the header. It was pretty cool. But then I built a real website after that, and I was able to sell that for a decent amount of money back in 2010 for a lender. And then I moved to San Diego and hypothesized that I could recreate that website was for first-time homebuyers. And so my hypothesis was I think I can redo this and do it for luxury this time. And so I built the website, branded it for luxury. Fast forward 12, I think this is our 13th year, and we're doing very, very well and broke into a high-end luxury market with online real estate leads.
That's awesome. So would you say in the early days then, a large part of your success came directly from SEO, from those organic rankings?
In the beginning days, because the SEO took a little bit. So in the beginning days that I was buying leads, which is an interesting thing for real estate agents. A lot of them still do buy leads to this day. And so I'm now an advocate of learning SEO yourself, setting your website up for success, and generating your own leads versus paying, some agents are paying over $10,000 a month for leads, and they are profitable, but you're depending on something else and versus depending on your own infrastructure that you own.
So how long did it take you to start to get some traction with the website?
Well, for me, it took over 12 months. And that was because I knew nothing at the time. I started learning. I bought Neil Patel's, I forget the name of it back then, but I think it was like an advanced marketing course. It was like $1,000, which back in that, 10 years ago, that's a lot of money for a course. It was like one of the most expensive out there. And I learned it myself and started implementing that. And it just kind of went from there. But that course is what taught me everything that I'm still using to this day.
That's awesome. So once you got everything up and running, you were still buying leads, I imagine, alongside that organic. Let's just fast forward today, and then obviously we can go back to see the strategy and stuff you did. But I'm fascinated to know what the attribution looks like now for sales. Like, is most of it coming from organic search, or is it 50-50 split between bought leads and organic?
No, so right now we don't do any bought leads, and we also don't do any paid ads. We did $433,000 in gross commissions from the website last year, and that didn't include past clients that retransacted. And so that's a third of our business essentially is our website leads. And then the other third would be our past clients in Sphere. And then the other third, we're very strong with direct mail. We still do a lot of direct mail and postcards.
So just looking at the new business that comes from Google, do you know what the breakdown is maybe between like the map packs, organic rankings, and like blog content? Do you know like which one has been the most powerful?
So I use our blog content more as support for the for sale pages. So I do get a lot of traffic on the blog, but those leads tend to be very, very far out of the funnel or almost in the daydream mode. So for me, I just use the blog to support the for sale content pages, the neighborhoods, the condos for sales. And so that's the strategy. As far as, I'd say like 95% is coming from a Google search keyword term on, the actual searches. And then as far as like the Google business, I mean, like right now, if you guys are to Google La Jolla real estate agents, you're going to find us number 2 in the Google map pack. And then you're going to find us, I think, number 3 on page 1 of Google. And so we've got both those spots, which is kind of good to fill up that real estate. Cause I think when you look at a real estate agent search, there's only like 2 or 3 spots for an actual real estate agent or a team. The rest are all the national aggregators like Zillow, Realtor.com, and like huge brokerages like Compass.
That's awesome. Okay. So we have a few real estate clients. I imagine it's definitely one of those spaces where SEO is massively underutilized by the majority of the market participants. So why don't you just start by walking us through your SEO strategy for other realtors that listen in? Where should they start? What are the basics? And then what have you seen that's really added to your success?
Well, I think one of the largest problems in our industry, there are a lot of template websites out there that aren't set up for SEO success. So what I tell my colleagues is go ahead, and I'll just pick this as an example. If you were to search Calgary homes for sale, you're going to find there's actually an agent on page 1 of Google twice with 2 different websites. Go to any major market area and search homes for sale, and you're going to find the same websites repeatedly that are ranking on either page 1 or page 2. And that's your indicator to which out of, say, 10 or 15 website providers templates that they should consider signing up for, versus some of the more hot and flashy ones that a lot of agents are drawn to because aesthetically they look better, but they don't perform in search unless you're a celebrity agent and you're constantly getting earned press from Hollywood Reporter and all of those types of sites because you're listing a celebrity's property for sale. Someone's famous.
So don't focus on having the best looking website. You got to get the technical details down first, the on-page SEO. Once you have that, let's say you've done that part, you get a website, your on-site SEO is pretty good. You know, your service pages are targeting the keywords they need to be. You've optimized all that. Then what's the process once you have that done?
Well, real estate's great because you can build out, like we're in San Diego, that's a huge market. So we've got all of these communities that you build out. And then from those communities, you build out the neighborhoods. And then from those neighborhoods, you can even drill down further and drill out like the lifestyle. So I always suggest to agents starting out, the lifestyle searches are the least underutilized. Most agents don't even think about it because they're almost 0 volume keywords: single story homes for sale, homes with a pool, homes with an ADU, all of those extra added on keyword to the city homes for sale is really where you're going to be able to rank in the initial stages. And you're also getting a very specific buyer that knows exactly what they're looking for. So they're further down in the funnel. Yeah.
Are those informational pages or are those pages that would be showing the listings for like homes with a pool, for example?
Because the competition level is so low, you really can get by with with having very thin content, which is technically against SEO guidelines. Because there's not that many websites that are like trying to say, 5-bedroom homes for sale in Miami. It's just not happening. So you can really drill down from there. And then I think another really important thing for a real estate site is the architecture of the site. So you have your primary city or county, and then everything's underneath it, and everything kind of flows up to the right city. And I think that architecture is also missing from a lot of agent sites, which is an immediate quick fix that they could do.
You alluded to the supporting content not being a direct source of leads, but obviously it's something that you're doing. So what's your strategy around the content outside of those like key listings pages and the supporting content? So
I'll give you a great example. ADUs kind of came on the scene about 24 months ago, and I was sleeping on it. And then I picked up on it about middle of last year. So you don't have homes for sale with an ADU is really a keyword, but there was a variation of that. And so I took that keyword, I built out the content page with the IDX of the homes with an ADU. And then I built out 5 or 6 articles supporting that with the different laws and things that we have here in San Diego and California, different resources. And so I call it a content silo where you're building out supporting articles that you don't even care if anyone's ever technically reading on your blog, and they're all backlinking and interlinking together, and then they're all backlinking to that for sale page. And so that we were able to get that on, probably took 60 days to be on page 1 of Google for a keyword. I believe it's just like San Diego homes with an ADU or something along those lines, where it's as close as a for sale, like transactional keyword as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So your main page is homes with an ADU. That page actually has the listings of for sale homes. with an ADU. And then the content you're building is things around that, like, what are the laws in San Diego for ADUs, the rental agreement for an ADU, those kind of things that are supporting. And then they're all going to link back to that page that has the ADU listing homes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good strategy. I know not many real estate agents do that because I live in Denver. Well, I live in Portugal, but we spend part of the year in Denver. And when we were looking for a house in an ADU, I had a really hard time finding anything. I had to seek out an agent who specialized in, investments and Airbnbs to even figure out how to start looking for that. So I can definitely see how that would be a great way to start, putting that into Google, finding an agent that had a page dedicated to homes with an ADU.
Exactly. And then I think it's, speaking back to the platform that you're on, I think it's important that when they arrive to that page, they're going to find the different things like the color of the buttons or call to action. A lot of the template sites in real estate, the button's black. And in digital marketing, black means dead or not. That doesn't mean exciting. Click on me. Click on me to schedule a showing now. So so after you got through that journey, then Nick, what you want to experience on that page are all these big, fat, juicy buttons like Redfin has that say schedule a showing, ask for additional information, that sort of thing.
So what are most realtors using in terms of a tech stack to put together their websites? You said a lot of people are buying templates.
The majority of agents, okay, so there's a good big subset that want to do the free thing. Well, I don't know, I'm kind of like, why bother? And then there's, 10 to 12 predominant template sites that have because the key component is the IDX. The IDX is the listing feeds from our MLS. And if you do the WordPress option, which is still a viable option, then you have to do an IDX plugin. And there's very few of those anymore that are ranking because the IDX plugin is so heavy because the data feed from our MLS is just gargantuan. So you want to get the website where the IDX is already integrated into the website. So it's less heavy and it's lighter. And then you want to be able to customize things like take off rentals, take off mobile homes. You want to be able to, back to what Nick said when he was looking for the ADU, you want a provider that has the search capacity to be able to say 55 plus with equestrian, like equestrian approved, gated, all of those extra lifestyle type searches you want to have available, and not all of the templates have that drill down capability.
So what do you use for that then? Is there something else you'd recommend, like a platform for pulling these in?
I use Sierra Interactive, which has been around for many years. They're based out of Kentucky and they perform very well. And they have agents on the first page of Google that in multiple cities. So that's always who I recommend just because it's been so successful for me. It's user friendly. It's very affordable compared to other options, like a custom option. And that's what's interesting. You don't need a $10,000 site. I mean, they charge us $500 a month, which is more than you would pay for a WordPress self-hosting situation. But you're also bringing in big ticket sale items too. So you get what you pay for.
I was going to say, at least they're not taking a commission off your commission.
No, not at all. And if you ever had to take your site and go, you bring your domain and you can, 301 redirect it somewhere else if you ever need to move off a different platform.
I imagine there's going to be so many realtors listening that are wholly dependent on paid leads, and the thought of being able to add revenue via the organic search route is going to be super exciting to them. So we've talked about content. There is another side of the SEO equation, namely links. Would you say that's been a big part of your success?
It has, and it actually it's gone full circle. So I actually went through a negative SEO attack back in 2015, and still to this day don't know exactly who did that. But that was, a new website starts at zero. If you have a negative SEO attack where you're being put in different forums and you're actually hacked so that you have an extension, Ugg boots or something along those lines, and having thousands of links built to you, you're at negative 100. So I actually had to go back from negative 100 back to where I am today. And so I know everything about links, good and bad. So that's the other thing is of course, just like everyone else, I hired people to help me build links in the beginning, and they weren't good links. And then we, as real estate agents, there's a couple of websites out there where you could pay a couple $100 a year and you could blog and link back to your site. And that worked for years. And now that site is actually downgraded in Google Google because it was used for spam. And so those links are actually not even, they're not good anymore, but they're also kind of a little bit negative. They're just not counted anymore. I think one of the best things that's happened with Google is that if you guys saw my backlink disavow file, literally I've hand disavowed like 5,300 bad backlinks. And then I just took it out at the end of last year. There was enough chatter that Google can kind of figure it out now and that you didn't build those. So I no longer have that file uploaded, but I would literally spend about 5 hours every single month for the last 5 years adding to my backlink disavow file one by one, which is... So we talk about backlinks and now good backlinks. I've been partnering with you guys for 2 years now, and you guys are really helping get high quality digital PR. I tell real estate agents, they think that when they go on the news or they hire a PR person in town, that that's going to solve everything. They're on TV for their social media. They're getting a backlink to their website. The bad news is, and it's very expensive to hire a PR person like that, but the bad news is you usually don't get that backlink. And so when you're doing digital PR to rank your website is not the same PR as what normal people think of as PR.
That's a very good point, because traditional PR is completely about the exposure, and you could get the backlink, but I think if you are investing in PR for SEO purposes, you need to make sure that the backlink is the thing you're after. We talked to someone who they did PR stunts, and they were like very elaborate. Like I think they dropped like chocolate in a metro station or something like this that made the news. It's a huge event, 0 backlinks from it. That wasn't their objective. And I think that's just know when you're spending money on PR, on digital PR, that have an idea what your objective is. Is it just to get exposure? Is it both? Is it just SEO? If you're focusing on the SEO side, you can definitely do both, especially in the real estate space. There's just a lot of publications, real estate publications, that are very interested in speaking to realtors, and great exposure and great backlinks to the website.
I also see, speaking about earning backlinks as well, real estate in terms of digital PR is a fantastic space to be in, just because it's such a PR friendly topic. It's a lot broader than just the buying and selling of houses. There's so much more in and around that subject. And we talk about the house and the home and all the things that go into that. So one thing that I see from, sales calls and looking at other potential real estate clients is they don't always know the level of credentials that they're sitting on and portray that as well as they possibly could in terms of the EEAT for their website as well. So a real estate agent will have a real estate license number. They'll often have citations on like real estate websites that like confirm their LinkedIn profiles with lots of connections with other real estate people. And if you combine this with link building, then the whole thing works together in harmony by telling Google, look, I am a real real estate agent. My website is a real estate business, and you can see the links that I'm earning, and it's just feeding into that EEAT and just building trust and authority and allowing those rankings to grow. So I think that's another thing which is slightly underutilized by the industry, possibly, where they could just flick a switch and turn it on.
It's a long-term play, and most agents would feel more comfortable with the quick dollar that they can say, hey, I got $10,000 in leads in the last 90 days and I've got 3 closings coming up, versus I'm investing in something and I might not get a lead for 12 months. So it's the same mindset as when we do our direct mail and we do our farming and you start mailing to people that don't know you. It's a 12-month, 18-month play. And that's the same thing SEO, but most agents can't or don't want to wait that 12 to 18 months to see results. So that's one of the reasons why you don't, it's a space that's not got a lot of competition.
The other thing you mentioned was that a lot of the results are filled up now with like Zillow, Redfin. So I think there's a thought from real estate agents that they just can't compete. You've already mentioned a couple ideas for ways you can. You can focus on these keywords with ADU, with a pool over 55. I think those are some great ideas that people could go and look at, where you're going to see more agents ranking and not just Zillow, Redfin, those kind of platforms. Are there any other keywords that are a really good focus for real estate agents that where they can compete against Zillow and Redfin?
There's if you want to write articles about like the different, like for I'm in California. So we have all these AB legislative laws, and a lot of them do relate to real estate. You can, another win I picked up last year from another person was to do an off-market page. So if you Google off-market San Diego homes, now I've got, middle of page 1 of Google on that. And that's actual like listings you hear about in Facebook groups or talking to different colleagues. So you want to pick what no one else is doing. Because everyone's going to try to rank San Diego homes for sale, San Diego real estate, but there are other ways to get those. If you're doing a networking group, if you're doing podcasts, you can rank, like, for example, like if you're at a brokerage where agents are consistently looking to potentially get a job opportunity, you can create a careers page and you might get a referral to your brokerage and get a little commission from that. And there's different ways to monetize. I just started doing the home decor on Amazon because the site's strong enough. I have an Amazon affiliate home decor. And I mean, I didn't do very well last year, but in 2023, I made over $5,000 buying, whatever people were clicking on my home fragrances and then buying a whole bunch of other stuff. So that was kind of a fun thing. And I'm actually looking forward to doing a couple more pages like that in the future too.
That's really interesting. So would you say then, being in the luxury real estate market, that has impacted in any way your SEO strategy or broader real estate strategy? The differences, the nuances from the luxury market, I'm interested.
So you have to brand. And that's what agents also don't get. They just think like, hey, I'm Nick Biggs and I sell Denver homes. But that's not going to work. You need to be Nick Biggs and you specialize in lots and land, or you specialize in gated communities, or you specialize in the golf course communities. So I think that first, when you're talking about luxury, is picking a niche and a brand and building that whole facade. Even if you've never sold a home before on the country club and you've never sold a home over $400,000 and everything you're talking about are $1 million homes. But that essentially was my strategy when I started out. And so when you're looking at luxury, it's like creating that content and those images so that they come to your site, they don't question it. They're not like, I don't know if this guy's really $1 million agent or not. And then being able to build the keywords that luxury type people are searching for. And again, this is in nationwide, we've got areas where maybe it's just a small lake and it's some lake homes or it's some cabins. And it's, so if that's not your bread and butter, but that's your aspirational market, that's what I would call that. You want to maybe niche the whole site to that aspirational market. If you do $1 million deal, you pay for your website for like the next 5 years. I mean, that's the thing too about, pushing your price points up, is that your profitability goes up and you can do more aggressive PR campaigns and that sort of thing with the revenue.
I think that's a great point. I know when we were looking for a house in Denver, we were planning to live there part-time and put it on Airbnb when we were in Europe. And so we looked for an agent who specialized in Airbnbs. And I think there were 2 or 3. So the market was small. Like right away, it's down to 2 or 3 people versus hundreds. And then I have to imagine, even if you are new in that space, it's only one thing that you have to research. So you become an expert in that much, much faster than kind of focusing broadly on everything. So I think that's a really good way to sort of like shortcut your way to success in the market.
Yeah, for sure.
I also think what's really interesting is that you've almost got the recipe for success as a real estate agent, because in terms of ranking and maintaining rankings within Google search, because you're talking about niching down and specializing, which is like exactly what Google wants to see in terms of determining authority. You're also talking about personal brand, which is something which should obviously be done by a real estate agent. Like that is going to be your secret weapon, your superpower. And it is 100% what Google wants to see. And it's also what the AI large language models want to see in terms of where they're going to draw the stuff that they're going to surface in their AI answers. So it's all there ready for the taking, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's been great partnering with you guys too, because I just got another backlink this morning.
Yeah, it does help.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the kinds of content real estate agents could focus on where they can actually make some room, make some headway in Google. Let's talk about the kind of content they should avoid. I see realtors posting things about like the best sushi restaurants in a neighborhood, things like that. Can that kind of content, even if they do get traffic, is that likely to bring in any actual leads? Is that a good idea, or is that too far?
So when we're looking at supporting your for sale pages with a neighborhood aspect, things to do in 10 places to have Christmas dinner, 5 places to take the family on the weekend, moving to, those are all great content silos to support that for sale page. I think it's just important that it's not just like one sushi restaurant, because I do see that where an agent's like, oh, I have a blog, and they put like 3 sentences up with 3 pictures of the sushi. And it's like, no, how about the 7 places to get sushi in your town with pictures from every single restaurant with a little review, and then backlinked somewhere to your homes for sale page. The other thing I want to throw out there is, because agents don't know any better, and I'm guilty of this in the past, is over optimizing XYZ homes for sale, XYZ real estate. You can't do that. Instead, it's like your name or the city name, but that's going to start counting against you if you over optimize that keyword and just spam that everywhere. That's your backlink for everything, your interlink everywhere in your content.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you're mixing up your interlinks when you're linking to two different pages. So I think that makes a lot of sense. You create that content. If someone lands on your page about the best sushi restaurants, maybe not going to become a client, but you got to think about that content. Its purpose is to support that neighborhood page, and that's why you're creating it. It's not meant to be a lead source. It's meant to support that page that you've created for the neighborhood, and then you're going to link that page to your main page on the neighborhood where you have your listings, and that's going to help drive up your rankings for that page.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So Joy, as we approach the end, then I suppose we should start just touching upon AI. If you're seeing any changes specifically within your industry, if you're integrating it within your, not necessarily SEO, but just like your real estate business, the real estate website, and if you're noticing anything significant happen in the industry from it as yet.
Well, what I know you shouldn't do is take ChatGPT and say, write me a 2,000 word paragraph about moving to San Diego. Not a good idea. And the reason is that's glaringly apparent to anyone who's building their website. And now you guys are all going to have duplicate content. So one of the AI writers that I use that most people don't know about unless you're in our space is Koala Writer. And then once you're getting a more high quality, different level of content there. And then you have to read it. You actually have to sit down and read it, edit it, and then make sure you're adding in your own photos. And I think that the worst thing that would be just to have VA copy paste and throw it on your website, because you're actually going to get penalized for it versus, it's just not ranking in my mind, because I've got potentially some errors in there that aren't even accurate, because the AI makes mistakes essentially.
Yeah, at the very least, it needs to be human edited before it goes up on your website.
Yeah. So we're using AI a lot to help professionalize an email. So you could just give it some random thoughts about like some bad news you might need to give a seller. And then AI can help soften up that delivery. And it really is. I just use it as a time saver. Literally, It is my personal assistant now. I literally ask it things. I ask it personal things that I need to, like the county lost my name change, the recording. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to do because I had changed my name. And so I was like, hey, I asked ChatGPT yesterday. They gave me a good idea to call the Social Security Administration. So, and I couldn't get that answer in Google. I swear to you, I tried Googling it and read it and that wasn't working. So it's a really great tool to like ask questions and try to literally, it's like your personal assistant.
Yeah, that's so true.
We're close to the point where you'll be able to interact with it and say, okay, now call the office and have it fix this. I think that's within the next year or two. Nice. I think that would be phenomenal.
I loved how you said you can use it to soften the blow. I've got the Gemini now in my personal email, and I write aggressively without knowing it.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I had to like reply to a doctor appointment. They'd like messed me about, and I just wrote it nastily and said, can you just make this sound nice or less nasty, less aggressive?
Or if it's like you're trying to get a seller to reduce their price, it's like, well, please write this message to be compelling.
Yeah.
And it adds those extra words in to make it, more soft and make them feel good about dropping their price $50,000.
Yeah, that must help. Chris, we need to get that AI assistant in your Slack.
I just call it Nice Chris. Yeah.
Okay, Joy, I think this is the perfect place to wrap up. Anything you want to leave us with? Anything you're excited about for the next year?
I'm excited. The one thing about this whole journey is there's been many years where I don't do much on my website at all, and I still make a lot of money. And so I'm excited about getting back and at least doing maybe 2 articles a month. And I'm also, I just hired a VA yesterday to start working on building out more remote areas and adding team members. So there's a lot of extra things that I'm going to do. And now that we have a very strong domain authority, I can, basically if I want to write something, I rank. It's kind of nice to be able to say that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
The last thing from me, do you take like younger, newer agents under your wing? Do you give advice, community, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I need you to know how to tie your shoes. So I like it if you've already gone to another brokerage and you've learned how to tie your shoes and brush your teeth, and then maybe we can talk. But, it's easier for me. Like, we're super busy. So it is easier for me if someone has experience. They've closed a couple of deals, but they just need some leads, or if they need some branding to help support them when they're out in the market. It's definitely something that we would look at.
Perfect. So where can people find you then, Joy, if they want to connect with you?
Instagram's great. Just joy.aumann, AUMANN. Send me a message and I'm happy to talk.
And if someone wants to buy a house, a luxury house in your area, the website?
That website is luxurysocalrealty.com.
Brilliant. Okay, well, Joy, thank you so much for being such an awesome guest. And all the best for the coming months ahead. Excited to see how it goes.
Thank you, Chris and Nick. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Joy.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this episode of Market Movers, Building Brands and Links with Linkify. Big thanks to our parent company, Linkify, the wizards behind turning ambitious businesses into standout brands. Hit up our website at linkify.io and take the first steps towards brand greatness. Big shout out to Fame for making this podcast possible. Thanks for listening, folks. Stick around for more insights in our next episode. Catch you later.